Alright, so as a member of the Black community, I'll agree. We all can agree there are multiple things that have affected the way relationships go between us. Whether it's a lack of positive male-female dynamic relationships as models, whether it's the lack of emotional safety and wellness being addressed in the household, whether it's just the lack of education and knowledge on certain subjects. The validity of the reasons are there. The validity of allowing these problems to stay in your life, non-existent. Once you become aware of something, it is now your job as a healthy adult to address it. And I say this because I know a lot of people want to be in healthy relationships and they find themselves in the opposite. For men, it would be like, well, no one taught me to be emotionally vulnerable. I wasn't taught emotional intelligence. For our women, with having a lack of male role models, they are not necessarily sure what it looks like to let a man lead. Positive examples of male masculinity aren't there. Or she's just had to be hyper protective and vigilant over herself because who else was going to do it? And so now we get older, 30 years old, we come into communication and contact with each other, and you don't like the fact that he's not able to emotionally meet you where you would like him to be. And he doesn't like the fact that there's no space for him to do things for you or be kind because you got it and you don't need a man to do it. But we both need to realize part of the reason we're approaching the relationship the way we are is because of learned trauma and unhealed baggage. And I feel like the understanding will be there and it'll be the excuse for the disconnect, the poor behavior or the poor treatment, as opposed to taking ownership of it and saying, what can I do in order to be better? And this is the problem, because if you want someone to be in your life and if you want to be in a relationship, you're going to ultimately have to learn better behaviors. And the only way that's going to start is by taking ownership, by actually addressing the fact that there might be things that I can change about myself in order to be better suited for partnership and relationship. Nobody's perfect. We all can always learn more. So why people get defensive and say, well, this is how I am, or I didn't see this growing up, or I was never taught how to do X, Y, and Z, that's fine. For women saying, well, I've always had to look after myself, I've always had to protect myself, I've always had to provide for myself, I'm not used to having these types of dynamics or conversations, that's fine. You have to understand, in order to get better outcomes, we have to try different things. And you're never gonna try nothing new if you never accept the fact that you can do something different or better. So with that, I encourage everyone to do a deep dive into themselves about what it is that they do, how they behave, and really we all just need to ask ourselves the questions of why do I do these things and what do I ultimately want? Once you're able to ask yourself what you want out of certain situations, you'll be able to assess your behavior and say, did my behavior match up with the things that I said I want? You can't control the other person. It's never about the other person. And I even argue that at least 90% of the things that we feel as struggles or detriments are all caused by us wanting something and there being a disconnect between us getting it. Sometimes it has everything to do with what we're doing and nothing to do with the outside world.